Well, since taking office, President Trump has made sudden and sweeping cuts to the federal government, including the Department of Education, Veterans Affairs, the IRS, and more. Federal workers are on high alert about the security of their once stable jobs. Hoosier federal workers are among them. Clayton Baumgarth reports.
I'm standing just outside the Bloomington Social Security office, where inside employees are dealing with rapid changes to their workflow and worrying if they'll even be employed in the near future. According to the Associated Press, President Trump and the Department of Government Efficiency have cut over 125,000 federal jobs from the budget. They say they are cutting wasteful spending. And though Trump has said that his administration wouldn't touch Social Security, the Social Security Administration says it plans to cut 12% of its workforce, or roughly 7,000 employees. Some people working in the Bloomington Social Security office describe the situation as terrifying.
It's gotten to the point where I don't even want to open my emails, because I just don't know what's going to be in there.
Dougherty, a single mom, took her job as a claims representative 15 years ago.
I needed something stable and good paying, and so I had done kind of social work stuff before, and this kind of fit the bill in terms of doing that.
And while it's never been an easy job, she and her colleagues have been able to live good lives. Now, with the threat of cuts, the job could be getting more difficult. Dougherty says that in the Bloomington office, 12 Social Security workers serve 70,000 people.
To think that that number would be reduced is just, it's unconscionable. People in this area deserve better.
And the 70,000 figure doesn't include people currently applying or will be applying for benefits. There's also been confusion over how Americans can access or apply for benefits. In a press release on March 18th, the administration announced that individuals may no longer verify their identity over the phone for benefits claims or direct deposit changes. They must now do so online or in person, something that can be a challenge for older citizens in rural areas. It was described as a fraud prevention measure. Then, 8 days later, the administration changed its plan to allow those applying for disability insurance, Medicare, or supplemental security income to complete claims over the phone.
We get so many emails each week, and some are contradicting others, that it's hard to actually keep up with what's going on.
Other federal employees argue that even if the cuts stop tomorrow, the ability to attract workers has been harmed.
Jobs were stable. You didn't have to be affected by the ups and downs of the market. So it wasn't going to pay as much as a private sector job, but you didn't have to look for a new job every 5 to 6 years. And that's now gone.
All of these rapid changes and cuts are unprecedented.
I've been a national vice president for 25 years, and I have never seen an administration do what this administration has done.
Scott says he worries about the jobs at Crane Naval Base. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth ordered a strategic reduction of roughly 60,000 civilian personnel at the Department of Defense, which could include Crane.
I hope that when cuts come, that they spare Crane, because I know what they do down there, and it's important to what it's important to our country.
Bedford, Indiana, where many employees of the base live, contains 4.4% of Indiana's federal workforce, the second highest per capita in the state.
Depending on what would take place at Crane, reference to any cuts or anything, it will affect us some from the standpoint of the people that work at Crane, but then there's a possibility, depending on what takes place, if it would also affect us reference to the government contractors.
Though Crane itself has been quiet on exactly how many jobs are at risk, Mayor Craig says he's heard from some of his constituents about the potential for buyouts.
I did have some people talk to me, and they were referring to evidently kind of an early buyout on some of the employees that were going to go ahead and retire maybe ahead of time.
But overall, the mayor shows little fear that the cuts to Crane will be significant. In fact, he says that Crane is expected to grow in the coming years and that Bedford is aiming to develop more housing for the base's future employees.
We're trying to support them the best way that we can as far as being able to provide the housing and stuff for the employees that they're going to need in the future.
Craig says the cuts are a needed cinching of the belt on the federal budget, but federal workers in the trenches like Dougherty feel differently.
Hobbling the federal workforce is really going after the middle class because it's a strong middle class job.
For her, it's hard to interpret the administration's actions as anything other than an attack on federal workers' livelihoods. For Indiana News Desk, I'm Clayton Baumgarth.